So the first question asks us to find the limit of the expression below. And since the limit of the expression below is approaching infinity, the first step we have to take is we have to find the highest power of both the numerator and the denominator. So the highest power of the numerator is to the power of 2, and the highest power of the denominator is also to the power of 2. Since the powers of the numerator and the denominator equal to each other, the answer would be the coefficient of those. So the coefficient of x to the power of 2 will be 1, and then the coefficient of minus 4x to the power of 2 would be minus 4. So the answer would be this one. For the next question, we have to find the value of limit as x approaches minus 3 of x squared minus 9 over x plus 3. So firstly, we can simplify x squared minus 9 into x squared minus 3 squared, and that can be written as x plus 3 and x minus 3. And so we can incorporate that into the equation given below, which is x squared minus 9 over x plus 3. So it will be written like this. So x plus 3 and then x minus 3 over x plus 3. And since we have x plus 3 up and x plus 3 down, we can cancel that out, and you can write it as x minus 3 over 1. And then we can incorporate now the value of x, which will be minus 3 over 1, and that would equal to minus 6 over 1, which is just minus 6. So the answer would be minus 6. For this question, it says, choose the best description for this statement. A roller coaster goes down 50 meters and then up 25 meters. So I'll draw that so we can understand it a bit more. So it goes down, the roller coaster, 50 meters. So 50 meters down. And then it goes 25 meters up, which is around halfway of 50 meters. So 25 meters. And the initial height is here at 0. Right here. So since the 25 meter isn't at the initial height or is above the initial height, we can say that it is below its initial height. So the answer would be the roller coaster is below its initial height. For this question, it states the price of a liter of petrol was 2.86 AED yesterday. Today, the price is 2.79 AED. What is the percentage decrease? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. So we have to find the percentage decrease. And for the percentage decrease, there's a certain equation that you have to know, which is basically the original value minus the new value divided by the original value and then multiplied by 100, which is the formula for the percentage decrease. So first of all, we have to find the original value, and the original value, so where it started at, was 2.86, so right here, AED. So original is right here. And then the new value, so what it changed to, is 2.79 AED. So this is the new value. And then we can input that into the equation we have below for the percentage decrease, which we can write it like this. So 2.86 minus 2.79 divided by 2.86 and then multiplied by 100. And then if you input that into the calculator, you would get 2.4475. But since they want the nearest hundredth, which is the second decimal place, as you can see right here. Here, this is the second decimal place. So we have to look at the thousand, which is the third decimal place, and we have to see if it's above 5. If it's above 5, you round the hundredth. If it's if it's 4 and below, you don't have to round it. But since the number behind the hundredth is above 5, we have to round 4 to 5. So it will basically be like 2.45. So the answer is 2.45%. For this question, we have to find the limit. And since x is approaching infinity, we have to first identify the highest power of both the numerator and the denominator. The highest power of the numerator is to the power of 2. And then the highest power of the denominator is also to the power of 2. And since the powers of the highest powers of the numerator and the denominator, they equal to each other, we can just look at the coefficient for the answer. And the coefficient of 3x squared would be 3. And then the coefficient of 4x squared is 4. And the answer would be 3 over 4. For this question, it states a bakery had 252 customers last week. This week, that number is increased to 378. What is the percentage of increase in customers? So what exactly do we have to find? We have to find the percentage increase. And there's a certain formula that you can follow for the percentage increase, which is basically the new value minus the original value divided by the original value. Multiplied by 100. So firstly, let's identify the new value and the original value. So the original value is 252 customers. So here is the original. And the new value, it increased, and what it changed to is 378. So this is the new value. Let's input that into the equation we have below for the percentage increase. And we would write it like this. So the new value is 378 minus 252 divided by 252 multiplied by 100, and you would input that into the calculator and it would basically give you 50%. So the percentage of increase would be 50%. For this question, it states a storage tank is in the shape of a cylinder with a hemisphere on the top. The highest point on the inside of the storage tank is 13 meters above the floor of the storage tank, and the diameter inside the cylinder is 8 meters. So the storage tank is divided into two shapes, which is basically a hemisphere on the top and then a cylinder on the bottom right here. It also stated that from here to here, that would be 13 meters, and then from here to here, that would be 8 meters. What is the total volume inside the storage tank? So we have to find the volume within the storage tank to the nearest cubic meter. So first off, we have two shapes, which is a hemisphere and then a cylinder. So first off, we can start by finding the volume of the hemisphere. And there's a certain equation that you can follow for finding the volume of the hemisphere. So volume of hemisphere would equal to 2 over 3 multiplied by pi multiplied by r cubed. R is the radius. So the radius is half the diameter. So this is the diameter from here to here. Half of it would be the radius, so in the middle. So to get half of it, we could just 8 divided by 2 equals 4, which would equal to the radius. And now we can input that into the calculator. And first, let's input that into the equation and then input it into the calculator. So 2 over 3 multiplied by pi multiplied by 4 cubed. And the answer would be, 134.0412866. And that would be the volume of the hemisphere. Next up, we're going to find the volume of the cylinder. So volume of cylinder. And the equation for the volume of cylinder is pi multiplied by r squared multiplied by the height. So the height would be from here to here, not from the top. So how are we going to find the height from here to here? Since we know that we have a radius from here to here of 8 diameters, for the hemisphere, it would also be the same. From here to here, we would have a radius of 8 diameters, and it would be the same all the way through, no matter what. So from here, it would still have a radius of 4 meters. So now that we know that from here to here, that would be 4 meters, since from the middle of the hemisphere to the top, you have a radius of 4 meters, we can minus 4 from 13 to get the height. So to get the height, you would just 13 minus 4, which would equal to 9 meters, and that would be the height. And now we can put that into our equation, So it would be pi multiplied by 4, since we know the radius is 4 squared, multiplied by 9. So here till here is 9 meters. And then we would put that into our calculator, and it would be 452. Let me just move this to the side here. So the answer would be 452.3893421. Now that we have the volume of both the hemisphere and the cylinder, we can add both of these answers, both of the volumes, to find the total volume of the storage tank. So when we add these two, it would be 134.0412866 plus 452.3893421. That would equal to 586.4306287. But since they wanted us to round it to the nearest cubic meter, we can round the answer to 586 meters cubed. For the following question, it wants us to find limit as x approaches h of sine squared x plus cosine squared x. And there's a rule that if you ever see sine squared x plus cosine squared x, that would automatically equal to 1. So the answer would be 1. For this question, it states that the function g is graphed below. Find the following limits. So for the first question, it's limit as x approaches minus 1 plus of gx. And then the second question is limit as x approaches minus 1 minus of gx. So firstly, let's identify the direction of each question. So how can we identify the direction? So we have to look at the symbol behind the number. So the symbol right here, is it a plus or is it a minus? If it's a plus, then it would be coming from the right direction. And if it's a minus, it would be coming from the left direction. So let's look at the graph and let's identify where the x-axis is. So we can see that the x-axis is here. And since x approaches -1, let's identify and put a line on -1 on the x-axis. So it's right here. And since the first question, it says that it's coming from the right, let's look at one of the lines that is coming from the right, and it's at -1 on the x-axis. So it's this one. And then we would look to the side right here and see where it stopped at the y-axis. So we can see that it stopped at 2. So the answer of the limit would be 2 for the first one here. And you would basically do the same thing. So for limit as x approaches -1 minus of gx, we know that it's coming from the left direction. So we can see that this is coming from the left direction, and this is also at -1 on the x-axis. So we would look to the side and see where it is exactly on the y-axis, and we can see that it is on 3, even though it's not very clear, but you can guess from, like, you know, here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. So the limit would be 3, and that is basically the answer for these questions.
Hello everyone, we're just going to be going over an EmSAT question. So this one states that the graph of a function f is shown below, so they're showing us this graph, and it says if limit of f of x as x approaches, limit as x approaches b of f of x exists and f is not continuous at b, what does b equal? So notice how there's no numbers, so they don't want us to look for any limit or anything. What they want us to look for is a limit that exists, but it is not continuous. So we already know that there are 3 types of discontinuities. First of all, we have the asymptote, which is basically just going into infinity, right? So that's our first type of discontinuity. Then we have the jump, which goes from one place to another, just like that, a jump, it goes from here to here. And then our third one is a hole, which is like this, but then it's over here. So all 3 of these are discontinuous, but the only difference is that with the holes, they can exist. Because notice how there's still a hole on the graph, right? Therefore, that means that there could be a number there. You could get a value there. Therefore, it exists. Unlike these 2, which just aren't on the graph. They're just completely different. Therefore, we can determine that this is the area we should be looking at because 1, it exists and it is not continuous. Now they're asking us to find what b equals to. So if we notice here, it says x approaching b. So b is the x value we're approaching on the graph. So if we're coming on this side and if we're coming on this side and this is our discontinuity, then we would be approaching 0 on the x-axis. Therefore, b would be 0. So if we just go here, out of all these answer choices, the answer would be 0.
Find log base 3 of 27 to the power of 1 over 4. First thing we're gonna do, we will write log base 3 of 27 to the power of 1 over 4 equals to y. Now we need to find y. When we write it in an exponential form, we will write 3 to the power of y is equals to 27 to the power of 1 over 4. In order to make it easier, we will write 27 as in 3 to the power of something. Now 3 to the power of 3 equals 27. And now we have log base 3 of 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 1 over 4. To get rid of the 3, we will multiply 3 by 1 over 4. And the answer will be 3 over 4. So now we have log base 3 of 3 to the power of 3 over 4. And now to find y, we will write it in an exponential form again. And it will be 3 to the power of y is equals to 3 to the power of 3 over 4. So y is equal to 3 over 4.
Identify the image of point 4 and negative 2 after a dilation of 3. A. 1 and negative 5. B. 12 and negative 6. C. 7 and 1. D. 4 over 3 and negative 2 over 3. To find the image of the point after dilation of 3, what you have to do is to multiply 3 to x coordinate and y coordinate. First step, we're going to write 3 and 4, negative 2. Then we're going to distribute 3 times 4, 3 times negative 2. So 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6. Our final answer is B. A number is selected at random from the set below. What is the probability that the number is even? Negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. To find the probability that the number is even, step number 1, I have to count how many even numbers. Negative 2, 0, and 2. These are the even numbers. So we have 3 even numbers. And we have to count how many numbers do we have. We have 7 numbers. This is our final answer. So the summary. To find the probability that the number is even, what you need to do is to count how many numbers are even divided by the total number. Select all values for which m in the following expression defined it. For this item type, you can select 1, 2, 3 or all choices. 15m squared n over 3 minus m. A is 0, B is 1, C is 3, D is negative 3. As you probably know that this expression is a rational expression, so it will be defined when the denominator is not equal to 0. So I'm going to focus on 3 minus m. So for A, 3 minus 0, so we're going to take the m. 3 minus 0 is 3, so this is right. Then, for B, 3 minus 1, we also took the m, so it's 2, it's also correct. And for C, 3 minus 3 is 0, so that's wrong. And now, 3 minus negative 3. Minus and minus will be plus. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So it's correct. So the right answers are A, B, and D. Identify the statistical data type for the following variable. A medal won at the Olympics: gold, silver, bronze, or none. Nominal means name. Ordinal means first, third, second. Interval means a period. Ratio means a fraction. Since the set is named, so the correct answer is A. Simplify y minus x over x to the power of 2 minus y to the power of 2. A. Negative 1 over x plus y. B. Negative 1 over x minus y. C. 1 over x minus y. D. 1 over x plus y. As you may know, this is a rational expression. To simplify it, I'm going to let x and y up in the same order as down. To switch x and y up, we will take negative out. So, negative x minus y over x to the power of 2 minus y to the power of 2. The expression down is a difference of two perfect squares. So I'm going to factor it. Equals negative x minus y over x minus y and x plus y. I am going to cancel off any common terms. Cross out anything that you see is the same on top and bottom. So I'm going to cancel off x minus y from the top and bottom. So our answer is equal negative 1 over x plus y. So the correct choice is A.